Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome onto my channel today, and it gives me great joy to observe you are viewing this video. I'm Professor Olayinka Akanle. I'm a lecturer in the university. On this channel, I do a number of stuff, but all the stuffs I do, you can easily cluster them into four. But research and sociology are central. I also drop content on relationship and international migration. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to this channel previously, kindly go ahead and click subscribe on your screen right now. Tap subscribe on your screen right now so you might join my family of subscribers and you might be alerted every time I drop new video that will certainly be of use to you. Thank you very much once again. Community entry in research and project is what I want to talk about today. Community entry in research and project. Interestingly and unfortunately, this is a very important area in research and project implementation that people usually take for granted, dangerously for that matter. You know, most textbooks on research, on project management, most textbooks don't teach or don't write about community entry because it's one of the most taken for granted subjects in research. Even most lecturers and teachers don't teach community entry as a very important element of their course outlines. If not that this is particularly a problem, it's just what it is. But from my experience as a lecturer teaching methodology and research for many years, 2 decades, and I've been consulting and implementing projects across many levels globally, conducting research on the field also, I've come to see that this is a very important area. As a matter of fact, it's a very crucial issue for anybody who wants to go to the field for data collection, for research, or for project implementation. Meanwhile, I dropped a video. The video before this was on transit work, and I've received enormous feedback on this. It's also a taken for granted area. So if you take my video on transit work, together with this one on community entry, you have huge knowledge base to be able to do your research and project very effectively. So community entry is a very crucial element of conducting research. As a matter of fact, from my experience, it's a matter of life and death. I've heard of people who went to the field for good reasons to implement projects or to conduct research, and they were killed. You know, there's a case I'm aware of where you are about 8 people in a field truck were burnt to ashes on the field just because they want to implement project. They want to conduct research to implement project, and they were burnt to ashes. A whole project team. Why? Because they did not follow the basics of community entry. So having good intention is not enough in project implementation and in conducting research. Having good intention is not enough. It's a professional activity, and it's quite dangerous. So it's always, and even at my own level, like I said in the video on transit, I was nearly lynched on a particular field when I went to collect data and implement project. I was there with a team for baseline studies, you know, for a project, and the team that consulted me to go do the project for them told me they had done community entry. Unfortunately, they didn't do it well. So immediately we got there to start our research, we were mobbed. So I was able to intervene based on my immense experience. That's how we came out of the place in one piece, and that's why you see me in this video. So it's nothing to be checked. Very crucial. It's a matter of life and death. So, and what do you call a community entry? How do you define it? I can just say it's an initial process of trust building. That's the summary I'm going to give it. You know, preliminary process, initial process of building trust, because you cannot conduct research in a community where you are not trusted. You cannot implement a project in a community you are not known, you are not trusted. Don't forget, you are an outsider. You are not primarily a member of that community. Globally now, there's a lot of, if you like, mistrust, you know, conflict of interest, crime and insecurity issues, you know, all across the world. You have the issue of xenophobia also. Different reasons that make people not to trust different people. So you as an outsider going to conduct research in the community, implement project, what you meet with is suspicion, distrust, mistrust. a lot of misinformation and disinformation, globally speaking. So, so it's always important to have initial phase, the initial process of building trust of the community people you are going to meet, either for data collection or project implementation. So it's an initial process of building trust between you and the community. And we can also call it collaborative relationship building with the community. If it's in terms of research, you talk about your study area, you talk about your study population, research setting, and these are people who don't know you. This is a community you have never known. Perhaps they are coming in contact with you for the first time, and you just want to come to this community. So you should not come with the mindset of invasion, because if you just go there without building strong trust, you are coming to invade the place, and you might be invaded also by being lynched, by being mobbed, like the experiences I've shared previously. So it's a collaborative relationship building with the community. You want to build relationship. That's what community entry means. You want to enter a community for the first time as a stranger, alien, as an outsider. And you might be an undesirable alien. Or even if you have good intention, you might be undesirable in the community. Probably you speak different language. Even if you have interpreter, you have different complexion, you have different accent. Different reasons make you different from the community. Even though you are a researcher, you ultimately want to do the research or project for the best interest of the community. But you have to build collaborative relationship with the community to have their buy-in and ownership, like we call it, in project. And this is only when you can have sustainable project, sustainability. Without sustainability, no project is worth the investment. Even in research, for your research to be valid, to be reliable, to be unproblematic, then you need the buy-in, the support. The community have to own the project or the research as their own, ultimately in their best interest. And you need this also if you want to do needs assessment, or if you want to do even the research or project, you need to do needs assessment. And this community entry enables you to do the needs assessment to sufficiently understand what they need. Do they even need this research? Is this research even meaningful? Is it even useful for this community that I want to enter? So this allows you to do this. And also you have to do risk analysis or risk assessment. As you do the needs assessment, community entry also allows you to do the risk assessment. Is this project worth your life? Are you safe? Is the project safe? Is the research safe? Is the research going to be very reliable and useful in the long run? Is this the right place for this research? Is it a risky venture for you to do research in this place? Are there banditry and insurgencies, insecurity issue? So you have to do risk assessment. In fact, why I was able to go out of that site I mentioned earlier, that research field, the project site I mentioned earlier, was the fact that immediately I entered the community, I started doing my risk assessment. That's why I say, as a researcher, sociologist, you need to have what I usually call my original concept, high level of social sensitivity. That's a very important issue, which I will discuss another time. Social sensitivity is very important. You have to be sensitive to the social environment, sensitive to the social architecture framework of the society. So you need that for risk analysis or risk assessment. So immediately I entered the community, I put on my social sensitivity capabilities, and I discovered this place there's risk. And that's why I begin to deploy my research capabilities, an experience of many years. That's why I was able to exit the field with my team without being killed, compared to the other group that were killed, the other one I mentioned. So then community entry enables you to understand the cultural, environmental, and social architecture, social structure, the culture of the community, the environmental landscape of the community, and the social landscape of the community. You have understanding of this. So it's able to have the cultural, social, environmental understanding of the community and the people you want to go to. And all of these understandings will ultimately feed into the quality of your research and the quality of your project and sustainability of your research and your project. So this community entry allows you to familiarize yourself with different groups, different stakeholders, different important elements in that society. If you enter appropriately, don't forget, if you enter community inappropriately, you might be in for a long haul in a conflict situation. So you need this community entry allows you to familiarize yourself, to even share the project and research objectives with the community and to build their support. So community entry is also a process of getting support for your research, getting support for your project, and also to protect the interests of the community. So at the level of community entry, you're able to engage, you're able to ask questions, you are able to enter appropriately. You're able to know the culture, the traditions of the place. I went to conduct a research in a community in an urban center. So I was thinking this is a very modern area. Unfortunately, every stone in the community, was a shrine. And I didn't know. For me, and it's a very waterlogged area, flooded area. So to save my sneakers and to save my feet, I was simply jumping on the stones so that I don't step into the waters. Unfortunately, I was stepping on their gods. Interesting, isn't it? They were going to lynch me. They're going to mob me. Yeah, we've gone through many dangerous situations in this career. But until my community gatekeeper came to my rescue and said, he was an outsider. I was not so experienced at that point in time. Now, I will have done my background engagement and enter my community appropriately. That's why I think it's very important for me to talk about this community entry and the importance. It might save life, definitely to be capacited. So then you're able to protect the community. You know their interests at the level of community entry, and this enables you to factor the interest into your project and to your research. So why particularly? Why do we need, as an addition to what I've said earlier, what is the importance? Why do I want to synthesize reasons why community entry must be taken very seriously. Number one, it enables you to build trust and build relationship. Then it enables you to have the support of the community support. It enables you to understand the community structure, the structure of the community, the gender structure, social structure, relationship structure, power structure, financial structure, environmental structure, economic structure, visible and invisible structure, to be able to do your project or your research effectively. There is a process, a process through which you can get to know the community better, plan your research better, plan your project better, so that it's sustainable. And later on, you can still build on this community entry and to be able to do your research very, very effectively. It also enables you to understand the dynamics of the society. You're able to trace the history when you are engaging at a level of community entry. But you have a community gatekeeper. You see the most powerful, the richest person, the king, the queen, the president, through whom you are entering the community. So through this, you are able to understand the changes that have happened in the community and how this changes might affect your work going into the future. You're able to understand the dynamics of the community. You're able to do the power analysis. Who are the powerful people? Who are the stakeholders? You're able to do power analysis and stakeholders analysis. Who are the stakeholders? Who holds the stake in this community? And whose interest must you? The interest groups too. Who are the interest groups? How do you leverage them to do your work? You must understand the powerful people, stakeholders, and you must be able to do the power analysis. If you don't carry along the powerful person in the community, you are in crisis already. You are a disaster going somewhere to happen. So this community entry enables you to do your power dynamics analysis of the society, do the process analysis of the society, do the power analysis of the society, do the stakeholders analysis of the society, interest analysis of the society. This is where you know who is who in that community that you must factor in. It helps you to sample appropriately. Because at the level of community entry, you're able to know the interest group, the powerful group, the gender dimensions of it, the age structure. You're able to know. So this enables you to do your sampling appropriately. Are you using cluster sampling? Are you using quota sampling? Are you doing random sampling? Are you doing purposive sampling? This is when you are able to have the background information beyond what you have done in your office, in your proposal writing. This is when to test your proposal on the field for the first time, realistically. So it enables you to sample appropriately and then to collect your data appropriately, because you can then segment. You can then segment the community into appropriate strata if you are using stratified sampling. So that this enables you to do it appropriately and be realistic in what you want to do. Then this will then assist you to collect your data. Rely, in a very realistic, your data then becomes relevant and correct because you have done the background work at the level of entering the community. It's so strange when people just want to collect data and they're entering the community for the first time and they say they are collecting data for the first time. It doesn't happen. That's madness. You should have been there previously to enter the community appropriately. In fact, they're waiting for you. And this will also help you to promote sustainability and to avoid negativity. To avoid negativity, negative interest will not be driven to you, negative narratives, there will be no misinformation or disinformation. And this is very important. So you have to follow some processes. Number one, you preparation stage, where you get the background information. Then you establish contact at that level. Once you enter, who is your contact person? Who is your community gatekeeper? Who is your community entry facilitator in a community? Who then is you establish the contact, then the contact then begins to take you around and assist you and give you legitimacy or validity, or validation. So, but you must be careful that your community gatekeeper is not a complicated person. It's not a controversial person that may begin to draw negative energy towards your research. You have to bring somebody as a contact person who is very neutral, who is popular and charismatic, generally accepted in the community. So you don't have problems using the wrong person. Then you learn, and unlearn about the environment. Learning and understanding of the environment is very important at the level of community, at the level of community entry. Then you build trust and relationship. During this period, they have to trust you. You set the objectives and the methodology of your project and research to them. Then they trust you in the long run. Then your contact person continue to do background work for you every other time you are coming. So you don't come accidentally unannounced at any point in time. So you don't violate their culture and their norms. So, and the community gatekeeping is very important. This contact person then becomes your community gatekeeper. Along the line, you carefully, expand your community gatekeeping. If you have been using one person, you might also get more people, but be sure that you don't have complicated people. You also go ahead to collaborate with them. Collaborative learning is another very important element. You learn collaboratively with the community people. They become your partners in progress on this project. Then you mobilize. This is another, second to the last of the process. You mobilize the people for your project or for your research. There's a process of mobilization. And this is only possible if you have entered the community very well. Mobilization, then participation. The community can then participate, your samples, the people you have sampled can then participate in data collection or project implementation. So mobilization, first, you mobilize them to be able to be aware and to get appointment when the project will happen, when the research will happen, then you participate for the actual project implementation or data collection. Wow, I love this community entry because it's very real and it's very interesting. So this is community entry for you in research and project. Till I see you in my next video, kindly click subscribe and bye for now.